here with Christina Kerr. So, Christina, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to, one of my ideas with this segment is just to talk to ordinary smokers, talk about how they feel about smoking now, about public perceptions and attitudes about smoking and how they affect you. Christina, I know you've been a guest on the smoking section previously, and we decided that we wanted to do a special segment where we could talk in a casual, relaxed atmosphere, just to ordinary, everyday smokers about how they feel about public perceptions of smoking now, with smoking bans being so prevalent.
Right.
So I thought it was a nice opportunity for us to talk.
Okay.
And I know, Christina, you mentioned just now that you actually don't like being in smoky environments indoors anymore.
No, I like it in theory, that
Yeah.
indoor smoking, because I'm rebellious, but no, I mean, it's okay. I mean, I don't know. It's just what you're used to, I guess.
It's true. I think it can definitely be said that people have gotten used to not smoking indoors now.
But that being said, I'm going to have a cigarette because I've been working real hard
That's right.
today, and I need one.
Yeah.
I think that when I walk into a place that still has somebody smoking inside, I get excited, like, whoo. My husband went to a smoke shop in East Boston, and the guy was smoking, and he was so excited. It's like, it's such a rare thing. It's just like unicorn.
Yeah.
That you
it
get
is.
very excited when you see it. Like I was telling you, it's just because I had a kid and we didn't smoke inside, and I got used to that.
Yeah, I find it interesting psychologically, even in myself. I can relate to a lot of what you're saying. I think, in principle, I do like indoor smoking, but I noticed that physiologically, I think we've become so unaccustomed to it,
Right.
that it really, you just notice it more, and
Yeah.
it strikes you. And it's something I wish I didn't notice and that I didn't.
Yeah, I
pick
know.
up
It
on,
is curious.
but-
Even when I walk down the street, I always smell cigarettes, and it takes you aback, and you think, gosh, when I was a kid, this was
Right.
like
It was
so
nothing.
of
It was-
the norm. Like,
right.
this was everywhere.
That's right.
Although even as a, in the late 80s and early 90s when I was in clubs, I know that I remember plenty of nights where, the smoke would
Yeah.
really affect you by the end of the night.
Right,
You'd be
right.
like, ah.
Right. Well, I think we all have those nights.
But we still
that-
smoked.
Right,
I mean, it didn't
right.
stop us.
Right.
We were tough.
I think physiologically there has been a change. I think people just notice smoke more now. You can actually smell when someone has smoked when they come back inside, and it's unfortunate to
Do
me
you
in a
mind if I
way.
smoke?
No, of course not. I plan on smoking myself as well. No, but in a way it disappoints me that, but I also feel like it's something that could change. If there were more places that allowed smoking indoors, I think people would gradually become reaccustomed to some extent
Yeah.
to it.
I don't see that happening. Do you?
What I'd like to think would happen.
I know when it'll happen.
When.
Armageddon.
Armageddon.
When Donald Trump becomes president, we'll all be smoking everywhere.
I don't know about that. I think it's all about also where you live, because there's still cities in the U.S. where there are smoking bars. Like for instance,
That's true.
Next weekend I'm actually going to Philadelphia, where they still do have a good amount of smoking bars there. I think it's something you get used to again
Yeah,
quickly,
and there
really
are
fast.
airport rooms.
There are,
Not around
yeah.
here, but yeah, I've
Yeah,
been
there
to
are.
them.
And I belong to a private club here, actually in Somerville, where you can smoke. So I think it's not something that's unheard of. But what I would like to see happen in an ideal world is that we could have the option of smoking bars again.
Right.
I think
That's a good
Yeah,
compromise.
I think so.
It really is.
so. Let's hope for that.
Are you pushing for that? Is that what you're working on?
Specifically, no, we haven't really done any work on that, and it's an interesting question.
I can't imagine what
legislator.
Can you pronounce that for me?
Legislator.
Legislator, you will rally to be on your side.
Just as we're talking about this idea, occurs to me that could actually be a ballot initiative, because last year Jeff Yalanusian, who is owner of Brennan Smoke Shops, he actually introduced a ballot initiative in the state of Massachusetts to abolish the sales tax on tobacco. It didn't actually get very far, but it was a good first attempt. So anyone in Massachusetts can.
My hero.
Yeah, anyone in Massachusetts can introduce a state ballot initiative. So actually, I think that might be a good candidate for a ballot initiative. So maybe that's something we can work on in the future.
I go for the state tax before smoking inside. If we could just have a little break on that.
Right, exactly. Right.
Because as Steven said, I don't know if that went through, the federal dollar tax.
I'm not sure if that went through yet
It
either.
was in the budget, another federal dollar.
Right. Well, Jeff's idea was that the sales tax is actually is calculated on top of the other taxes, so it's calculated on top of the federal tax. So it's actually a tax on a tax, which is, just an abhorrent concept.
What can we throw
Right.
in the Boston Harbor?
But just in general, it's interesting to hear you talk about how just being indoors with smoke affects you. Do you feel that smoking bans have affected you in other ways? Do you feel psychologically as a smoker? Do you feel?
I think the worst one, particularly, is in airports. That because since 9/11, with all the security in the old days, you could run out. You could run out and have a cigarette.
Right.
Flying, traveling is very nerve-wracking.
It is. Yeah.
And
It's
since
stressful.
Boston doesn't have a smoking room, and a lot of the airports don't. I mean, when you get out to the Midwest, a lot of them do. But I would say that is really where I feel it, because sometimes you can have really long
Right.
times at an airport. I would say, I'm pretty adaptable and I grew accustomed to it. I can tell you what I have found interesting is it's the new byproduct of smokers smoking outside. There's a sense of community when you get out there, and I've had so many conversations with strangers on the street.
Interesting. So
The
you,
smokers,
yeah.
even at airports,
So you actually see that as a positive thing, the
it's
sense
just
of community.
it's just a byproduct.
It's a byproduct.
Yeah, I mean, we're all out there smoking. We know we're all the demon children of society, so we kind of bond together on that level, or we're just friendly people because
Right.
we're relaxed.
True.
We're having a smoke.
True. Yeah, that's true. I think it's interesting that you say that that's a byproduct, because I think that anything is going to have its good. I tend to think of smoking bans as predominantly negative, but I think even things that you think of as predominantly negative can have unintended positive
Yeah.
outcomes, which is an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah, I would have to think deeper about if it's had a negative. I think it's more the psychological and the just the demonizing effect of it. That would be the
I
thing
agree.
that's bothered me the most.
I agree. I think it bothers me. I think when I first started hearing people, like at work or wherever, acquaintances talking about someone and saying things like, "Oh, he or she is a smoker," and they'd say it in this way that it seemed as if they were saying, "Oh, this is a bad person." And to me, when I first started hearing that kind of thing, that's when it really struck me that, hey, we are being demonized.
Yeah.
People are talking about you as if there's something wrong with you or morally bad.
And there's, we all talk about the person who fans their face if they walk past you on the street. And, your response is basically you just want to run after them and blow smoke in their face.
Right, yeah.
It doesn't help. And as a matter of
Right.
fact, for some people, it just makes you smoke harder.
True. I think some of us are. I definitely know that I myself am somewhat of a contrarian, and I tend to resist any efforts to control me. I think some people are just like that.
Yes.
So maybe a lot of smokers are actually like that just by nature.
They might be. Well, the ones nowadays.
The ones nowadays, the ones that are still smoking.
The ones who held out.
Exactly.
I mean, I know a lot of people who have tried to quit forever, like are always trying to quit. And, I've nenever been that person. I think I did try once when I was pregnant. I smoked all through my pregnancy, and I still had a 9-pound, 8-ounce baby
that's
that
great.
was completely healthy. So
That's great.
I know that maybe not everybody can be strong like ox, but
Right.
I was and he was.
That's great.
What was I saying? I lost my train of thought.
I think we were talking just about the public perception of smokers and smoking. Just how that affects you. I'm not sure what the long-term psychological effects are. I'm not sure if it maybe just makes us dig in our heels even more. Some of us.
Oh, I was talking about quitting smoking. The one time, so when I first got pregnant, I quit coffee, not because I wanted to, but my body said yuck.
Oh, really?
And I love coffee. I drink coffee now still. But while I was pregnant, I couldn't drink coffee, but I was able to smoke. And I did try and quit because I thought, I should try and be a nice mother.
Right.
And try and do it. And it lasted 2 days. I even went to the Russian.
The Russian? What's
in
that?
Brookline. Many quitters of, many people who have tried to quit will know what I mean when I say the Russian in Brookline. He was big around here forever, supposedly, cured a lot of people of smoking.
Ah, okay.
I went to him. I didn't understand a word he said. He even brought me in front of the class and did all his whatever non-smoking juju on my, so it lasted 2 days, and I would describe the 2 days as, for me personally, hellish, but for the world. I didn't even have to open my mouth. Yes, I don't think I said a word, but I'd walk into a room and small children and animals would just flee. It wasn't pretty. And
Right.
I figure, I'll know when I need to quit smoking because I've quit other things in life,
Right.
and you get to a point. I heard somebody describe it once for them. They knew the day when they had just smoked their allotment of cigarettes. They
Yep.
just knew this was how many I was allowed to smoke, and now I'm
Right,
done.
right. I cringe a little bit hearing about people now, honestly, who will take Chantix and things like that because just
I
from
will
what I've
never.
heard,
I will
I've
never.
heard about the drug, it just seems like it has really serious side effects. And I always think, if you really are resorting to such drastic, methods to try to quit smoking, then maybe you really shouldn't be quitting smoking.
Well, you're just, I say stick with the devil, I can't stand the pharmaceutical industry. The only pharmaceuticals I like are the ones that actually get you high. If you're just
Right.
taking a pill to
Right.
solve some existential crisis, it's not.
That's just boring, right?
It's totally boring.
That's funny.
But I don't like the pharmaceutical company at all.
Right.
And I don't like Stephen and I on his show. We're talking about the trade-off. They're demonizing nicotine, which
Right.
is a stimulator or a drug that we all know about it. But they've replaced it with all these meds that I almost want to do a survey. I think everybody I know is on meds. And
That's true. I think I'm one of the few people I know who doesn't take any medications
I don't take
at
any
all.
meds.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any difference
Right.
between nicotine and whatever they're giving people for anxiety or depression or any of that. But why are they not demonizing those people? But I think their day will come.
Yeah. I think you're right.
I think their day, they will be the outcast someday.
Maybe.
And then they'll be upset that they were so mean to smokers.
Maybe. I wouldn't really wish it on anyone. I don't wish that anyone becomes isolated or an outcast, but I think it does tend to be human nature, unfortunately.
Yeah, it
so,
will.
right.
Yeah, the pendulum will swing, I'm pretty sure. It may not swing in our lifetime.
Right.
But
it's I think societal attitudes will change eventually. In the meantime,
something new will come.
yeah, something new will come. In the meantime, keep smoking. Well, it was great to talk to you, Christina.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for joining me
It's a pleasure
today.
to meet